Hey everyone, I'm back doing a video after a couple of weeks hiatus, and I've basically at this point thrown in the towel on NaNoWriMo. Had a little family emergency that threw me off for a few days, and I'm so far behind now that I'm just not going to make myself crazy trying to catch up. So I thought I would drag out this deck that I've had for a very long time and have never really worked with, because it really threw me when I first got it, because it has very different suits. It has hang on, it's bells, acorns, leaves, and hearts. And I never really knew which one was supposed to be which until I've been reading through this book by Caitlin Matthews. Whoops. Whoop, wrong way. The Complete Lenormand Oracle. And she actually shows in here which are which. These are the German suits. So swords are the leaves or spades, wands are acorns or clubs, cups are hearts, which are the same, and coins are, the bells are coins or diamonds. So finally I have clarity on which suit and where these designations came from. So I never knew that. So this is kind of a weird little deck. My copy of it dates to 1997, I think. I don't think I've actually had it that long, but that's the copyright on it. And this is the little white book that I got. It's just this little fold out. And it's two-sided, and it's all in English. But it's got some really weird meanings for the various cards. It's like the Eight of Bells or Pentacles. Says some fairies try to develop their ability not only to joke but also to help every creature of the wood. This card is the symbol of great activity and of professional skills. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best. Okay, so like the Eight of Cups or Hearts in this deck says fairies are always in touch with nature. For their idle and thoughtless temperament, nature means stability and steadiness. So, you know, just very different interpretations in this little thing than what we're used to. And some of the cards have been renamed, like the Fool here. Is also called the Elf, or in German der Kobold, which is kind of an interesting interpretation of the Fool. Oops, come on. Kobolds are kind of house sprites, and they can be either mischievous or helpful, and sometimes they're in mines. Like there was, if anybody remembers that very short-lived show Constantine, there was an episode where they had a kobold down in a mine that was knocking. They called them knockers or something. They can also be on ships where they smoke pipes and dress like sailors, but they're just little tiny people. So I thought that was kind of a interesting take on that. So I didn't want to do like a full walkthrough of the deck, because like I said, this deck's been out for ages and ages. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but the main illustrations are by Antonio Lupatelli, I think. This is a Lo Scarabeo deck. So it's very similar to his Tarot of the Gnomes, if you've seen that. The style of the figures, their faces, I mean, they're very gnome-like, except he sort of stuck wings on them. Justice is a dryad, which is a tree spirit, spirit of the oak trees specifically. But now it's kind of, you know, people use it to mean any kind of tree spirit. So most of them haven't been renamed, but a few of them have. This is the Oread, and I didn't even look that one up. I'm not sure even what that one means. Kind of good strength card though. And then here's Temperance, is a sylph. And sylphs are water, or no, I'm sorry, hang on. Okay, so sylphs are air spirits. And I guess that's fine. Tower. But then you get to the star, which is the Naiad. And Naiads are water spirits, rivers and lakes and stuff. And it's almost identical, you know, that would work very well as a Temperance card, I think. So, I don't know if this is another one of those decks where they took existing art and tried to turn it into a tarot deck somehow. So all the majors, like I said, are by Antonio Lupatelli. And then the minors, he apparently also did the aces and the courts. All the courts have these Latin phrases on them, and I tried to, you know, I don't speak Latin, but I tried to translate these online. And this one translates to something like care spurs men. I'm not entirely sure what that's. If somebody can come up with a more elegant translation, that would be great. You know, maybe being kind inspires men or something like that. But then the pips have, they're pips because the illustrations, like this one's probably one of the most appropriate, but most of them have absolutely nothing to do with the card. And these, in fact, these illustrations on the minors are all apparently, from what I can tell, except for, like I said, the courts, are done by a Victorian English artist by the name of Richard Dicky Doyle, who did a lot of, he did a book, Fairyland, something like Fairyland. Hang on. Yeah, okay, so it was called In Fairyland, and apparently this was what made his career. But this is taken from a larger illustration. Let me see. I've got notes here, but they're all a mess. It's called The Fairy Prince in Love. And I'll try to insert the full-size picture here. Okay. And then the Three of Hearts is also taken from one of his pictures. This is a close-up of one, let's see, what was this one called? Okay, let me see. I know I had it here just a second ago. Okay, so this was taken from the frontispiece for In Fairyland, a series of pictures from the elf world. And this is called, oh goodness, there's the title. Musical Elf Teaching the Young Birds to Sing. And I'll try to insert the full picture of that as well here. But yeah, so it's all Doyle's art, and nowhere in the little pamphlet is any of this credited. At least not in the version of the deck that I have. Maybe, I think they've reprinted it now and it's got the standard little white book with all the different languages. So here's some of his the quartz. And then we get to the next ace, which is also Lupatelli. And this one, it translates like harm to the good who is mercy to the wicked. Like, the closest thing I can think is that quote that keeps going around, and it's either attributed to Thomas Jefferson or Edmund Burke. Let's see if I can find that. Something about bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. And that was attributed on this website that I found to someone named John Stuart Mill in an address at the University of St. Andrews in 1867. So, I don't know. But that's the closest I can figure. Like I said, if anybody's better at Latin, feel free to chime in with a better translation. And then we go back to Doyle's illustrations. And I haven't dug them all up. I just found a couple of them. It's, you know, he did beautiful work. It's beautiful art. I wish they would have just used his art for the deck. I don't really care for these gnomey fairies. And the Ace of Leaves, or Swords. Have a penny yourself is the closest. I ran it through a bunch of different translators, so I'm thinking it's something along the lines of a penny saved is a penny earned, maybe. Maybe that's how we would translate it. And then we go back to Doyle's art. Like I said, and then back to Lupatelli for the quartz. And then the Ace of Bells, or coins, this would be. Student of the day, the next day. I have no idea. So I tried like 3 different sites to translate it from the Latin. I think I did. Oh, this one was called Teasing a Butterfly by Doyle. And then back to Lupatelli. So anyway, finally got around to figuring out this deck that's just been sitting around gathering dust for these many years. And like I said, if anybody has a better translation on those Latin phrases, I'd love to hear them. So yeah, that's, anyway, like I said, this is an old copy. I think they've changed the box now. It just says the Fairy Tarot, where this says the Fairy Tarots, which is kind of different. Oh, just a presentation and advertising card. And this is the back. I think they've changed the backs now too. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Just wanted to pull that out and walk through it and credit Doyle for his art. Since there's nothing in the literature with his name on it, and didn't see anything online really. So that's it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you're all having a great weekend. And no idea when I'll be back. not a lot of time for doing videos these days. I've got a few VRs I'd like to get to, but I don't know if I will anytime soon. So anyway, everybody take care and hope you had a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon, and blessed be.